The car you see next to me right now, which looks a lot like a spaceship from outer space, is the all-new Xpeng P7. At first glance, does it make you forget what the original P7 even looked like? Let me take you on a quick review. The Xpeng P7, the P7 Plus, and the all-new Xpeng P7. Isn't this a completely refreshed and brand new look? First, let me tell you about the dimensions of this all-new Xpeng P7. The car is 5,017mm long, 1,170mm wide, and 1,407mm high. So, as you can see, with a length of over 5 meters, it looks extremely sleek. When a car is long, low-slung, and wide like this, you can be sure that, design-wise, it will never look bad. That's why this all-new Xpeng P7 looks very sci-fi, futuristic, and aggressive. Now, as for today's Star Moon Silver all-new Xpeng P7, in my personal opinion, this is the best way to experience the new P7. Of course, there are 5 other colors available, so you can check them out and see which one you like best. Next, let's take a look at the design of the front end. You'll notice that while it retains the original through-type light strip, it also adds these vertical light sources on both the upper and lower sides, creating a Y-shaped lighting effect. But you'll notice that compared to the P7 we saw before, the entire light strip is much narrower, so it gives off a very sharp and piercing look. So where are the headlights located? The headlights are on both sides of the black trim strip. Doesn't it look quite mechanical and futuristic? The key point is that the all-new Xpeng P7's logo can light up this time, and you'll notice that when you touch it, it's seamlessly integrated with the front hood, with no protrusions at all. So they've really paid attention to the details this time. In addition to all that, the all-new Xpeng P7 has also added an exterior voice command feature. This means you can open the front and rear trunks, adjust the air suspension height, control the rear wing, and much more, all from outside the car. Did you catch the key point? This time, the all-new Xpeng P7 actually has a front trunk. Let's give it a try. Hello, Xiaopi. Let's see if it responds. Open the front trunk. Let's take a look at the front trunk on the new Xpeng P7. It's actually pretty straightforward. The all-new Xpeng P7's front trunk has a capacity of 56 liters, which honestly isn't a particularly impressive figure. After opening this cover, you'll notice it only extends down a little and is quite shallow, so in my opinion, you can't really fit a backpack or luggage in here. It's only suitable for storing some small items you might need in an emergency. But it does come with a drainage outlet, which means, for example, if you go swimming or to the gym, you can put wet clothes in the front trunk. Another very obvious point about the exterior is that, as you can see, there's no LiDAR on top of the car. The all-new Xpeng P7, like the Xpeng G7, uses a pure vision-based driver assistance system. But I think there's one thing that really deserves praise. If you look at the all-new Xpeng P7, the integration of the millimeter wave radar and ultrasonic sensors with the body is done really well. They blend in seamlessly. Next, let's take a look at the side profile of the car. It still features the familiar fastback design that everyone knows. Very stylish. This time, the all-new Xpeng P7 has made some optimizations to the side profile lines. For example, if you look at the C-pillar area, the angle is pressed down a bit more, which gives the whole car a more aggressive look. Of course, I know that at this point, some of you might be worried. Will this affect the rear passenger space or headroom? We'll test this out for you in person once we get inside the car. Also, looking at the side profile, there's another eye-catching feature, a brand new 21-inch wheel design that looks a bit like an X shape. Personally, I think this wheel design is the best looking among the 3 options currently available. Plus, with these 21-inch wheels, you can clearly see the orange Brembo brake calipers inside. Of course, I know that choosing the other 2 wheel options will give you even better range performance. So, just pick the one that best suits your own needs. Another detail on the side that I personally really like is that they've blacked out the A-pillar here, which creates a very distinct floating roof effect. And then there's the side mirror. Not only does it have this little blue light, but it's also frameless, matching the clean and simple lines of the whole car body. And of course, there's the soft closing doors that we're all very familiar with, available for both the front and rear. Next, let's take a look at the design of the rear of the car. I know that when the all-new Xpeng P7 first released its official images, the rear design sparked quite a bit of debate. Some people liked it, while others thought it was too radical. For example, if we tried painting the blacked-out strip in the middle of the rear to match the body color, would it look a bit more minimalist? Of course, I understand that this design really comes down to personal preference. This time, the all-new Xpeng P7 comes with an electric rear spoiler. Hi, Xiaopi, open the rear spoiler. You can see the spoiler slowly rising up, and it will automatically deploy when the speed reaches 80 km/h. Doesn't that look impressive? So you see, with the fastback design and the large rear spoiler, there's just one more buff needed to max it out. What is it? It's the large liftback tailgate, which it also has. Next, let's open this large liftback tailgate. Once it's fully open, it presents a very elegant and expansive look. But because it's a large liftback, and also because this brand new Xpeng P7 has a relatively wide body, the entire opening is quite large. Compared to other pure electric sedans, loading the trunk is much easier. Moreover, the trunk has a capacity of 575 liters, and when the rear seats are folded down, it extends to provide even more impressive storage space. As you just saw, the entire front-end design as well. These lines, including the rear end and the rear wing we're seeing now, if I were to give some design suggestions for this brand new Xpeng P7. Do you still remember the Xpeng P7 scissor doors? I really truly think they absolutely must be carefully put on this brand new Xpeng P7. They would fit perfectly indeed and seamlessly. Okay, next, let's take a look at the interior of the all-new Xpeng P7. The car we have today has a silver exterior and a purple interior, but if you choose the other two interior color options, the seat belts will be in a contrasting color, which makes the visuals look even more personalized. Next, something very noticeable is the steering wheel. It has become somewhat of a racing-style, irregularly shaped steering wheel, and the size is now even smaller. Another thing is the small screen behind the steering wheel, which has become an 8.8-inch display. In front, there is an 87-inch chasing light panoramic AR HUD, the same panoramic HUD that was very popular among users on the Xpeng G7. Visually, it looks even clearer. Besides the visual aspect, the overall functionality has also been enhanced. For example, on both sides of the steering wheel, two rotary knobs have been added. These two small knobs with screens are also appearing for the first time on an Xpeng model. So what are their respective functions? Pressing the left knob activates the intelligent driving assistance, and rotating it adjusts the suspension height. These functions are integrated into this knob. Pressing the right knob activates the one-touch boost, providing you with an emotional value feature. Rotating it allows you to adjust the driving mode. So these four functions are actually some of the most commonly used features in your daily driving, and placing them here makes them extremely convenient to use. Another very noticeable feeling is that the all-new Xpeng P7 features much more soft touch materials throughout the interior compared to the previous P7, including the P7 Plus, so the sense of luxury is taken to an even higher level. At the same time, if you look at the entire interior of the car, the ambient lighting this time is no longer just a simple light strip. They've added some fine stripe detailing and changes in materials, so when the ambient lighting is turned on, the immersive feeling inside the cabin becomes even deeper. In addition, there's one thing that I personally find a bit regrettable. The storage space inside the all-new Xpeng P7 is somewhat limited. You'll notice that the downward extending storage area in the center is quite restricted. If you want to put larger items, you can only place them in the central storage box, which extends quite deep downward. So this also means that the all-new Xpeng P7 does not come with a cooling or heating box. Next, in terms of the overall seating experience, the all-new Xpeng P7 features these integrated sport seats, which really make driving more suitable and comfortable thanks to their excellent wraparound support. I also noticed a detail. Both side bolsters can be manually adjusted for tightness. For example, since I'm relatively slim, when I sit in these sport seats, I want the side bolsters to wrap around me more snugly so I feel safer while driving. During dynamic driving, these side bolsters can also adjust dynamically along with your movements, giving you even more confidence while driving. Now let's focus on the rear row of the all-new Xpeng P7. With a wheelbase of 3008 mm, the elongated body and excellent wheelbase provide a very generous amount of legroom. Additionally, the all-new Xpeng P7 has also optimized the rear seats. For example, the seat cushion has been extended so that during your ride, your knees receive better support. However, as you know, due to the fastback design, the headroom isn't particularly spacious. For reference, I'm 1.69 meters tall, and when I sit here upright, there's only about a 4-finger gap above my head, so for taller people, it definitely won't feel roomy. This is also a legacy issue. If you want to have those smooth, elegant fastback lines, you inevitably have to accept this kind of interior compromise. Another point is that because the all-new Xpeng P7 now has front driver and passenger seats with a lot of functionality and are also sporty integrated seats, you'll notice that the space left under the seats for rear passengers' feet is quite limited. If you're wearing sneakers or thicker shoes, it's not easy to slide your feet under the front seats, so your movement space is restricted to just the rear area, which means it doesn't feel particularly spacious. Let me mention a few other points that people might easily overlook. The all-new Xpeng P7 is also equipped with the 8295P chip, so the display performance of the front screen, including its smoothness, is really impressive. For the first time, it uses a 3-axis dynamic screen, which allows you to adjust the screen orientation however you like. It also connects with the rear screen and the panoramic ARHUD up front, creating an interconnected screen experience, which is really nice. Another thing is, when it comes to overall ride comfort, aside from the softness or firmness of the seats, in terms of features, the front seats offer ventilation, heating, and massage functions, while the second row seats only support seat heating. So, at the end of the video, let me summarize some key information about this all-new Xpeng P7 for everyone. For example, it features an 800V architecture across the entire lineup. All models are equipped with 5C batteries, and even the entry-level version boasts a range starting with 702 kilometers. So this set of features is actually quite suitable for many consumers who need fast charging efficiency and long-range intercity travel. Now, compared to several of the most popular mainstream pure electric sedans on the market right now, such as the Model 3, this car offers a full 800V architecture, superior value without relying on maps, and a more avant-garde, eye-catching exterior design. As you all know, there's also a dark horse in this market that can't be ignored, the Xiaomi SU7. So, do you think this brand new Xpeng P7 has enough competitiveness in the current mainstream pure electric sedan market?